Okay, folks, this is actually an introduction to this video. It's going to be a little out of sequence. I kind of got this scene here far enough along, and what follows will be kind of progression of some of the work. And it's been so long. A lot of that was done much earlier, and just things have happened in the world, which as of when I'm recording this on March 18th, 2020, most of you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I wanted to get this up. Again, it's going to be a little bit out of sequence. This is not the completion, obviously. I never get anything done. But I got it a little bit further along. I got the kind of the station where I want it. I did add some light posts, and they're all wired up. You can see I had a couple benches there in the front for folks to kick back and relax. I need to get some figures to add there and more details and whatnot, but it's relatively, it's at the 90% level where I can move on. I did bring the lights out to a switch right here, which turns them on, so they're not on all the time. You can't see them now. I'll turn the lights off so you get a look at them. But then the other things I need to do, obviously, in this area are work on this section, which when I was in the modern era, I knew what I was going to do. Now that I'm backdating, I want to figure out what to put there. I just have a little shed sitting there now, just kind of shoved in there, but I want to work on that area. And I'm probably going to do over here, probably put a couple trees, maybe a gazebo, I don't know, because that's kind of what was there modern era. I don't know what was back there back in the mid-50s, to be honest. But I'll put something there. But I don't want to do a whole lot, because I still need to get the darn trees put along here, and I just don't want to be reaching over stuff and causing damage to anything I do here. So like I said, for now, it's fine. It's like at the 90% level, and I can move on to other things. So let me just go ahead and dim the lights. Well, here, in fact, we'll do this live. I'm just going to back up slowly. Reach for the... So, I'm not sure how well that's going to show up, if at all, but the platform lights are there, the under eave lights, and then the interior, which I apologize, probably won't show up. Looks pretty cool here, from what I'm looking at. Guy in there drinking his coffee at his desk. That's the operator. So, alright, so I like that. I actually like the way it looks with the lights off, too. With the lights, well, with the room lights off and the interior and the platform lights on. So let me just wander back over here. Change the f-stop quickly. Alright, so that's that. And I guess the only thing let me know what people think about leaving the flower boxes there. I kind of like the way that looks. Now they're just sitting there for right now, so they're totally movable. But I'm just curious if they kind of make sense, if they kind of add a little bit to the scene, or if they just look silly. So, all right. So again, what follows now will be the progression of this work, which was actually going on much earlier than this. But given recent events, I want to stop here, get this up, get it done, and then start, I don't know, maybe a new series, with everything going on in the world with the coronavirus and stuff like that. Obviously, a lot of changes for all of us everywhere in the world. I think this is one thing that really is impacting literally all of us. And I got viewers from Europe, and I certainly hope they're all doing okay. From the Philippines, Taiwan, New Zealand, a lot of countries. Hopefully they're still out there, and if you're going to be sequestered and socially distanced and self-isolating like a lot of us are, well, it's a time to do some auto raritying. So I'll try to provide some entertainment for people. So, all right, more to come on that. So enjoy the rest of this video. If it's your thing, it'll kind of show how I work this area right here with the platform and whatnot. And then I'm going to start doing some other stuff, getting back into it, because apparently I'm going to have time on my hands. So, all right, more to come, folks. All right, one of the things I finally decided to do here, and I apologize, it's dark over here. It's really dark over here, really light over there. So I cranked the ISO so the left side is going to be all washed out. But anyway, so I put this piece of fascia and I cut it trace the outline with a real quick with a saber saw. Just came in, nothing real fancy. I just wanted to cover the gap up along here, and then there was a much larger gap down here, so from the swing gate over, I could blend all this in. Right now, people have been falling to their deaths. HO scale death. So, got that done. It's very, very white right now. I use some of the plaster cloth just to bridge that gap. Then I'll come in, give it a quick coat of whatever color paint I have, probably a green color. And then I can probably continue the mats out to this. You can see I have some of the hecky wild grass kind of peeled back like a bad toupee, and then I'll kind of blend it all in. And then I did throw in, well, it's really dark, now you probably can't see, but I put a little tiny piece right here just to kind of blend this. Now this side, all being in a workshop, for the most part, people working on layout aren't going to care. Now I probably will just go ahead and get it painted to match everything once, since I'm doing all this, I might as well, paint that, the same color as the way over there. That's the fascia, just for the halibut. So we'll get that done. But I want to let this sit for a while. Could take a couple days, and then we'll go ahead and get that painted up and get it fixed up and get that blended in. And then I still got to figure out what I'm going to do with the computer. Had some real good ideas from folks, but obviously I have not done anything yet. So, okay. Progress. These are these little things that just pop up. I actually had a quiet afternoon at work. Shh, don't tell the boss. I snuck downstairs and did this at like 4 o'clock. Alright, more to come. Alright, so over here, what I did was I got the start of the scenery in here to match in, filled in that gap that was there between the edge of the plywood sub road bed and the edge of the, I guess I'll call the edge of the layout on the workshop side. I have an MBR mat in. I kind of brought it up, added some of the initial shrubbery, and I have kind of blended it into the existing scenery that was there going up around the curve. So that's done. So I might come back in and play a little bit more, just add a couple more bushes here and there. You can see I added the dark edge of the ballast out to the mat, and I want to do a little bit to kind of blend in right along the edge there. It needs a little bit of work, but nothing serious. So that gets me, if I move back here, so now it all kind of looks a little bit more presentable, as opposed to having that large gap in the plywood. Then again, of course, up around the curve, I'd like to get a little bit of more advanced scenery in there. You can see I got some possible bushes sitting over here ready for placement. So I think for now that looks okay. Again, I do want to come back in and tinker with it, and I need more trees and yada yada yada, but at least this gets this blended in to the existing scenery. And if I very carefully, unless it's going to be dark, but I'll at least kind of give you the view. We will open the swing gate, which still, to my amazement, swings quite nicely. And I come over here. Like I said, it's going to be dark. I realize that, but you swing the swing gate back. Da da da. So that's what it looks like from this side. Again, I know it's real dark, but I can't really make it a whole lot lighter without cranking the ISO, but you get the point. So it just kind of, finishes this area here. I do want to come back in and, paint this. I didn't want to put too much in here because I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to leave the computer here, move it, but worst case, if I move the computer, I'll put some, something to hang down there to cover that up on both sides eventually. But that gets that area fairly well, looking a lot better. So, all right. So that takes care of that, and we can move on to other things. Alrighty, finally getting ready to install over in the engine service the diesel fuel system. I kind of went back and forth how I wanted to do this. I know that there's some commercially available stuff, but A, that's so recognizable, and B, it didn't kind of capture the look that I wanted. So what I decided to do was kind of cobble something together here out of various pieces. So what we have here is, and it's based loosely on a prototype set of photos I found from the Reading Railroad at their Rutherford yard, just after they installed a diesel service. So starting on the left, let me see if I have something I can point with instead of my large, ugly fingers. This here is a Scale Structures Limited, number 2193. Let me see if I can just show it here, because I wanted something kind of valvey. Whoa, can you read that? I should adjust the f-stop, but so that, alright, hold on a second. So you guys can freaking see what the heck this is. So this is the piece that I used. Hopefully that's better. And they're just, they come up out of the ground. There's like a little check valve on it. Comes into an elbow that's a 90. I cut the little protrusion off after that. And then, and I gotta change the f-stop back again so you can see. Alright, so then there's that's here. Piece of brass tubing that I have in a whole set I got from, I think, K&S Engineering, like a assortment. There's all kinds of various size brass tubing. This is a cowl scale, some type of detail, I don't know, for a steam engine, but it just like kind of look neat and valvey, because on the prototype right here it looks like they have a meter or something like that. Probably they can meter the amount of fuel, gallons going in, I don't know. A big shut-off valve here that is from who is it? Western Reserve Models or Western Model, something like that. They're a small manufacturer from out west, and I bought the stuff years ago. According to their website, they're supposed to be updating the kit, but I've never seen it updated. But there's that, and it includes the flange sections, which unfortunately I forgot, so I had to cut them in half and glue them top and bottom. So this one's definitely a little bit ugly. There's a T, another brass piece going down, a brass piece running up. One of their elbows out of that kit. So I can turn this here so you can get an idea. Oop, focus, focus. And then this piece is out of the Woodland Scenics small diesel facility. Okay, as is, so that piece is that's the hose from the Woodland Scenics kit. This is because the hard part to find are the nozzles. So the hose I cut in half because I made two of them. I'll show you that. This is the stand out of the Woodland Scenics kit, because I like to have the nozzle. And the Woodland Scenics kit is this back there that I modified slightly so that you can see that. And you can see on the left there, I kind of cut the top part off, which has a light. I didn't use the hose or the stuff to mount the hose and whatnot. I kind of cut it up for what I'm doing, but it was some good pieces at least to start with. So I made two of those similarly. So the way I'm going to set it up is so you can fuel two units or like an AB set at one time. I'm not sure about this, but I had to do something. I mean, on the Reading photos, they show this kind of coiled up and wrapped around itself, but I kind of like the way that looks because you can see the nice nozzle on it. And I couldn't figure out a way to get the nozzle cut out of this casting without way more work than I want to put into it. So anyway, so that's why I figure they can work both tracks, with that, so they can, work either side. An AB set, or two units on this side, an AB set, on that side. And then the other stuff out of the Woodland Scenics kit, I'm probably going to use it because it's not bad. I actually kind of like it. This is, kind of a cool little pump looking thing into just a little building here. And I don't know if you can see, but I did paint it up a little bit. Kind of make it look a little bit better than just the plain black. And these are the typical, lost wax lead castings, which I hate. But these are the 2 barrels that come with it. And one thing, there's barrels everywhere. And then this is just a kind of a cool looking little shed. Now, the way Woodland Scenics has it, it's all together. I'm probably not going to do that. I'm probably going to separate it and just put things around in different locations. This is, I think it's like a Plastrut kit that I bought at an estate sale. Painted it up black, and that's okay. A little bit of hose laying up there that I found in my goodie bag that I'll lay somewhere. So that's what I'm planning to do. Now, I don't have the water cranes, and I'm strong. I'd like to do something like this, but again, how do I get a nozzle? So I'm gonna have to see what I can do. Yeah, Stewart makes them, and I can buy them on eBay for 10 freaking bucks a water crane, which I don't really feel like spending. I'm just getting. I mean, I'm not saying they're bad. I just don't feel like spending the money, because if I did 2 or 3 of them, that's 30 bucks. Plus shipping. I'm like, really, just for 3 freaking water cranes? I don't know why the Stewart stuff is so expensive. Anyway, so just to kind of show what I'm looking at here, I don't know if this will be visible at all with the light, but this is the, okay, so that's the Reading, hold on, that's the Reading prototype scene. That's, again, at Rutherford Yard, when they started to, get ready for diesel. So that's kind of what I'm trying to follow. Roughly. I mean, very roughly. I'm not trying to duplicate it exactly. You can see it comes up out of the ground, goes through the center thing, which looks like it's got the meter into a T, and then up to the crane with the hose. There's a support in the middle. There's also something here that looks like a little, probably an on-off switch. A little stand that's probably got like a red and green button to turn the fuel system on or off. That's what it looks like. I did try to sketch it up best I could. Of course, you can't see crap. Let me just do this. Kind of what it is. Again, up out of the ground, into the center, support. This valvey looking thing, the T, up to the crane with a nozzle. So that's what I'm going for. It's just a little bit different. It's not the same thing you see on everyone's layout, from Stewart or from the Walthers kit or something like that. So that's what I kind of based it on, just to have it look a little bit different. It's not quite the same, because I decided to go with these out of the Woodland Scenics kits. But I kind of like the way that looks. So, okay, so let's get it over there, get it installed, and see how things look on the layout. Alrighty, here we are in the engine service facility. I'm going to call it Soup for now. I added this little building there, just kind of some new thing for the diesel service. Compressor house, part of the machinery, etc., etc. This is the original sand tower for steam, still there. This is the new one, does steam and diesel. They added a little platform here for some service work on diesels. You can see on the platform itself, I still need to add water. I don't have a water crane, and I don't know if I can break down and spend the money, $10 each for a Stewart one. But I do have compressed air, and there's the diesel fuel thing that I added up. I added some diesel fuel stains laying around there. There's 2 of those. And then on the back track, again, these 2 tracks are this is mostly for steam, what's left. These 2 are for diesel. The one out there is a ready track, although they could still get there and climb up if they had to do stuff. But the real service tracks are these 2. So back there, again, there's part of the Woodland Scenics kit added in. And then the bottles and the stairs, they're from Shapeways. The stairs are. They're not secured. They'll make them movable, because obviously they're going to move over time. So when people come back for different op sessions, I'll have things moved around a little bit, within reason. Did add a couple boxes and whatnot for whatever, I don't know, for stuff. So, like I said, the only thing I really think I need to add are some water cranes. I'll work on that. But for now, let me just keep coming up. Oh, because also this is now installed and lighted. Oh, I added this little guy. That was sitting over in my box of rocks. No, box of sheds. I liked it. Looks kind of cool. I added a light to it there on the front. That's actually one of the lights I buy off eBay. I'm not gonna say I broke it. I guess I'll say I deconstructed it just to get the head there. Very carefully took it apart, pulled it out, was able to save the LED and everything, and just paint it and add it to this. So, yeah, okay, cool. And then the area around here, of course, was touched up with ballast and whatnot. And then what I'm liking, at least the way it looks, I don't know how well it shows up on the video. You know, I come in there in the steam area, especially some of the ammo of MIG black pigment, and just kind of brush that on because of that nice dirty look of a steam terminal. So that is it. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my plexiglass piece back on here to protect the cooling tower and just enjoy it. You know, let it go for a while. Yes, there's more details. Yes, I should probably add some people doing some work here and there, you know, whatever. But for now, I'm just going to let it go. Get back to other things. I think it looks a lot better than it did. And now it looks like a much more plausible engine service area. So I'm good with it. Good to go. There's so much more to do. But I will come back and add more details over time. There can be a lot more stuff. Probably need some more barrels and, you know, other paraphernalia there on the platforms. But we'll get to that. We'll get it. So this is all pretty much, you know, like I said, I'm going to call this 95% done. I want to come back and do a little more detailing to the track and the ground and the earth, but you know what, that'll happen in due time. So okay, so getting ready for that's a Baltimore and Lehigh. That's Bill Schulp's layout. They actually have the contract to bring coal in to Eugene, so that's an empty one ready to be picked up. I actually have two of those now, one loaded, one empty, so I can cycle those through. And again, that's Shorty Parker's cinder tower. That Penske car is empty. I have a loaded one that I'll swap out because this was dropped off at the last session empty. So now I'll swap it out with a loaded one. Different car number and whatever. But pretty much good to go. Okay. Let me just see how it looks with the lights, because I did a lot of work on the lights, and at least I'll show you guys kind of what it looks like. So let me pause and see how well that looks. Okay, nice and dark. And I really had to crank, I have the ISO cranked up to like 1600, so this might be kind of grainy, but that is it, obviously without any lights. And then all the lights are now controlled by one switch. So I turn it on, and I see I have an issue back here. There we go. That's just sitting there. So that's the spotlight in the back. So the LEDs on the bottom of the sanding tower. I may want to dab them with some clear orange, but it's newer, so maybe the lights, you know, could be different temperature color. And all the diesel lights here along the shed, or along the service track. There are actually lights underneath the tower, the cooling tower, and a light on that little shed that I added. So overall, it looks pretty neat. At least here, now I know it might be hard to see with the camera, with the ISO cranked, and it's really not a perfect rendition, but it looks pretty cool. You can actually see it. Like I say, if we wanted to do a night scene, a night operating session, or a part of a session, it looks pretty cool. Okay. So there we go with the lights. I like it. Kind of fun. Alright, like I said, time to get the plexiglass to protect the coal tower back on and move on to other things. Okay, what's next on this layout? With the recent completion of the Lake City station. And like I said, the one thing at the end of that video I mentioned, I need to get the platform in here for the station. So what I decided to do was come in here and clean out what I had down there, which was basically ballast and one of those real thin hecky grass sheets, basically, but just taking some various chisels, tools, spraying a little bit of water in there. I've been cleaning it out, so I'm going to kind of try to make it nice and square in there. I come in and sand it a little bit. Then what I think I'm going to do is probably frame it in something, you know, roughly 12 by, and then put something down. I'm not sure if I'm going to use basswood yet or some of that other material that I have, and then put some of the herringbone from Monster Model Works. I think that's what I want to do. That might look the best. I've seen that quite a bit on the New York Central, Lakeshore, Michigan Southern stations. So I'm going to keep going along here, keep doing some more cleanup, try to get it nice and flat, and then forge ahead with that. So shouldn't be too terrible, I hope, he says. And then we will get the station, which is very carefully sitting over here now, get it up and get this scene going. So, alright, more to come as we make progress here. Okay, do a little bit more work here for the station platform. So I cut out a paper template. Well, I guess what I did first was I glued in this basically 1/8 strip wood all the way around to kind of make the frame for the platform. That eventually is going to get painted a concrete color. Might be a little bit large, probably should have used an 8x8, but whatever. Then I cut out a paper template and then transfer that and cut out this material, which is the same. It's not cardboard, it's the board material that came out of the N-Scale Architect kit. So I like it, it's good material. It'll glue very well to what's down here, and then I'll be able to glue the herringbone from Monster Model Works to that. So that's been cut to fit in here. So then what I'm going to do is get that glued in and secured. And then I did a little bit of cutting with the other pieces, and then that will then glue nicely onto that. You know, then give it a little bit of a lip. Again, I'll paint that concrete before I glue this piece in. Then when this is glued in and dried, you go ahead and paint it and weather it and whatnot. So that should give me the nice little pattern there for the platform. I did add this little bit here, thinking that, well, it is a station, and where the heck are they going to set or park their baggage carts, right? I mean, back in that era, they still had those, so I took away one parking spot, added that little bit there. This will probably be, you know, flowers or hedges or something like that around the front. I'll add a little concrete pad for the door. I'll have to fill this in, because originally, for the diner, this was going to be a platform where people step up to come into the main building, because this base foundation is actually for the diner version, not really the station. But that's okay. I'll make a concrete pad here, fill this in with, you know, probably concrete out there, or maybe brick. I don't know. I'll figure out something. Again, I'll fill that in, which it is and was going to be anyway. The I don't know, some shrubs or, you know, some hedgerows or something like that, something there. All right, so we're going to get this out of the way and go ahead and get these two pieces here glued in, weighted up, let them dry overnight, and then get back into it when that all dries up. Okay, get ready to glue down the Monster Model Works herringbone material. Got it cut and trimmed and fit inside the form, which I used the 1/8 strip wood for that. So these are all cut, ready to go. They normally recommend, Monster Model Works recommends, because there are little, you know, herringbone patterns on the ends. They're supposed to interlock and make the joints disappear. Yeah, well, it didn't seem to work that way for me, so I cut them all straight, and then with a little bit of sanding got a little bit much better looking joints than were there with the original sheets, but that could just be me. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and take some of my Tight Bond, dun, 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 wood glue, get these glued in, get them weighted. I will have to come back, you probably can see, I came back in and painted the edge of the ties, because I got some of the, when I painted this, the concrete color, some of that got in the ties. So I came back with a paint pen just to touch up the ties. I got some back on the back on the form here, so I have to come in and just with a real small brush, just touch it up a little bit. And then we'll do that while things are drying up. So let's get these in and weighted and get back at it once they're all glued in and secured. Alrighty, there's the station. Got it set in place. And you can, and I did come in and, I mean, I'll say I painted and weathered. I didn't do a whole lot to the platform, the herringbone stuff, because it actually looked pretty good. I did add the platform here at this end, and again on the modern building, that would be the kitchen area of the diner, but not back in the late 1950s. Got the lights in, got to wire them up, but they are all in. And those little flower, I'm not sure about the flower. I just like those. They were, I bought them on eBay from a guy overseas, and they weren't expensive. And you know, back in that era, they kind of they cared about how things looked. So I have some at that end, some at that end. Again, not totally sure if I'll keep them there, but I like the way they look. Alright, so now I need to do a little bit more scenery. I mean, obviously a whole bunch of trees have to go in the back there, kind of as the scene divider. I think I need a nice big honking tree here. Will look pretty cool. Maybe some benches, you know, a little park area there for folks to chill and relax and watch some trains. And then up at this end, since it's now backdated, I did have this all planned out for the modern era, but I don't know. This is just sitting here. This is actually a New York, Ontario, and Western little shed. Well, you know, I don't know. I'm not sure what I'll do. Something's got to be in there. What would be up at that end back in the 1950s? Maybe another railroad building. So we'll see. And I just noticed that the relay box has graffiti on it, which it probably wouldn't have back in the era, but again, it was modern. And actually I went over to this actual location where the signal bridge used to be on the CSX, and it did have graffiti on this box, on the relay box. So, but now that I'm backdating, I don't know if I could probably pull that out and repaint it. Anyway, we'll see. Alright, so again, at least this is done. And once I get the lights wired up, it's not a bad looking scene. I do have some baggage carts and some benches to add. I mean, you know, some folks sitting down, chilling out, waiting for the trains. But this is looking good. Definitely need some more details, need some more scenery, but we'll get to that. So let me see if I can do a little bit of more work here. Do a little bit of more. Do some more work here. And then maybe wrap this up. I'm not sure how long this video is getting to be, but you know me, I like to babble. But let's do a little bit more and then see about getting this update posted.